What's a happening, nerds? This is John, nerding out with cards, and so this is the first time I'm doing this on a computer as compared to on my phone. But anyway, it's late coming, but I'm doing my fifth installment of Ozzie Smith Weekend, and so first thing I wanted to do is I have now my 882nd Ozzie Smith card, and this is a pretty obscure card, but it's a 1993 sports art images. Like it's like a promo card. Like I don't even know if it's licensed or not, but pretty sick. 882, and there's a big time Ozzie Smith collector. He's got all the big cards and everything, and he's selling off his collection for whatever reason. And unfortunately, those are just way out of my price range. So, but to go along with that mail day is Tony Talks Cards had sent me some cards, and there were some really cool ones. Not Ozzie Smith, Yachty, Lou Brock disc here. But there was a couple Ozzie Smith cards in there, and one of them is just a really sick image. Yeah, you got this 1990 Upper Deck. Yeah, the reason why he sent it to me is because if you can clearly tell that this picture was taken at Wrigley Field. Ozzie turning a double play there. But another really cool one, 92 tops. And I spoke about this before in other Ozzie Smith videos, but this is a really special card for me because it's the first Ozzie Smith card I can remember getting way back in '92. So it's a real special card. This is in much better condition than the copy that's in my binder. But yeah, aside from that, just got a new card, got that mail day from Tony. Thanks, Tony, for that. Really appreciate that. And I was going through my binder here, and I was just like, I don't really have like an overarching theme, big time set that I really want to go over. But I was just going through them, and I was talking to Jeff, a fine card collector, last night. And I was talking about some like special cards and everything, and like within that discussion, I was we were talking about the Desert Shield cards, and at one point in time I was like, because this was in my binder, but the it was like I could get another copy, to have like on display or something of the sort, because this is a special set for me. My dad was serving in the Navy at this time that these cards, during Desert Storm and when these cards came out. But and if you notice, my copy does have a wax stain on there. And for a long time, I didn't really know what that was. But watching Desert Shield Sniper, it's pretty common. And the centering of this Ozzie Smith card is atypical for Ozzie's cards from the Desert Shield set. And it was after that conversation I was like, I don't want to buy another copy of this card. It's not exactly a cheap card or anything, and I love my copy. So what I'm going to do is I took it out of the binder, and I put it in this one touch, and it's gonna go in the binder that I have that I've showed, where there's other special cards in there. They're graded, they're one touched or something like that. It's similar to these two that I've showed on my channel before. Because in all honesty, like I'm not exactly sure what this card is worth. However, I hold it in the same regard as these cards. I think they're this is quite special, just like these. Although the three of these cards do have varying values, but it was just I'm sure that you all go through your collection and things like that, and it's like, well, you move stuff around, right? I know Bucks and Six talks about, maybe upgrading or downgrading cards as far as like, are they in penny lane or, one touchdown and things like that. So I guess I put my Desert Shield Ozzie up into one touchdown, like Rob would say over there. And, so I was just kind of doing that kind of stuff. I've been really busy at home. Uh, and I figure at least what I would do is I would show like a cool card and talk about the card, because I forget exactly what the print run of the estimated print runs of that is. It's like, what, 600 copies or something? I'm not entirely sure. But I was going through and I found a couple cards. So like these are really sweet, and I wanted to like talk about like 90s cards. So you got this SP Hullview, made by Upper Deck in 1994. It's really cool, although it probably won't show up in this terribly well. But it's got that hologram technology, kind of like behind Ozzie hitting there. And I was looking this up on Baseball Cardpedia, but within the SP set, the blue special effects is what it's commonly referred to, is these came in like one every 5 packs. So not terribly difficult to find this copy. And this is a copy that I have for a long time. Now, the much harder to find is the special effects red, or as you can see, this one's die cut. And then, of course, why is it blue? Why is it red? You can kind of see the coloring of the card. So really sweet, because this is a color match, red with Ozzie and the Cardinals, and really cool technology that was I guess not really introduced in the 90s, but became more prevalent in the 90s, right? Because we know a lot of spick and span cards were die cut. Some of those like really, really old top sets, was it the Connie Max set? And then there was other cards that weren't rectangular, they were circular and things like that back in the day. So, we had the batter up cards, right? They'll pop out. So the die cuts really became much more prevalent in the 90s, that's for sure. But what's really cool about this one, looking it up, and I didn't even know this until I was reading about it. So these variants came in one every 75 packs, which I guess like in today's world, that's not terrible. But back then, that's a lot of packs, right? And I forget how many cards are in this set, but so you start getting into the math of, to get the one you want, right? Ozzie is the one I want. That would be the odds are tons of packs, right? Not much more than just 75. But it's estimated that there's only 700 copies of these variants, and I honestly did not know that. And so I always thought it was a really cool card. It was a tough card to get, and now I know why it was a tough card to get. I actually got a really, I think, great deal on this. It was 6 years ago or so is when I was able to get this card. So really sweet. This is going to be a shorter edition of Ozzie Smith Weekend. But like I said, this is how I'm nerding out with my Ozzie Smith cards. I absolutely love doing this. So again, this is how I'm nerding out. I got the new Ozzie. I got a gift from Tony. Reorganizing or reholdering some cards, and then learning more about cards that I already have. Again, I've had these cards for years now. This one probably closer to like 15 or more years. Again, this one about 6 years ago. But learning more about them. There's a ton to learn about these 90s cards that I never knew, because it was always, get the next Ozzie, get the next Ozzie, get the next Ozzie. And now that my collection's at a slowdown, I don't want to just be like, okay, that's what I got, put the binder on the shelf, but actually learn more about the cards. And so that was really fun. And, you know, now kind of realizing how difficult this card was to get. So, again, I enjoyed nerding out this way for this Ozzie Smith Weekend video. And you all nerd your own way.